Nestled between England and Ireland lies the Isle of Man, an island that totals an area of 574 kilometers squared with an approximate population of just 84,530 people. The Isle of Man is a self-governing British Crown dependency, having the oldest parliament in the world with an unbroken existence called the Tynwald. The island has its own language, Manx Gaelic, that was considered extinct after the island became a British Crown dependency and with the incoming tourism and immigration, but the island has a strong sense of culture and a fierce determination to bring it back, with the language now classified as critically endangered. The island is brimming with culture and folklore, but also strange tales, like the one that we're talking about today, the story of Jeff the Talking Mongoose. And I know what a significant turn of events going from Chris Chan and murder to a talking mongoose. That's Red Thread, baby. That's what you can expect.
You get it all.
Expect the unexpected with
nothing but
Red
facts.
Thread. Welcome to Red Thread, everyone. I'm joined as per usual by my co-host Jordan. Good to have you here, as well as head researcher at the Red Thread Bureau of Talking
Research.
Monkeys, I guess.
Whatever
you would call us.
I didn't know it was so specialized over there.
Yeah. Joined by Kira, of course, our head researcher. Hello, Kira.
Hello.
Today, it's what it says at the top. We're talking about a talking mongoose, apparently. So I'm very excited to get into this one. We're a bit short on time today, so we're going to be. It's a good topic for today, actually, because it is quite a short, not Herculean effort like it was to go through the previous two investigations.
Chris Chan being an 8-year-old.
Yeah. So this is nice and succinct, as most of these cryptid cases are, for some reason. Very light on details, for some reason.
Yes, that is an eternal mystery that we will try to get to the bottom of on this podcast.
Yeah, why are cryptid cases just not that involved
why
in terms
are there always
of
blurry
evidence?
photos and why isn't there ever much evidence? The mystery deepens.
All right, so Jeff the Mongoose, let's have some top level thoughts right now. Jordan, what do you think this case is about?
Oh man, okay. I'm imagining, because the Isle of Man is a mysterious place, as you can see from the misty photos of a lighthouse, that there is either a wizard or wizard that poses as a lighthouse keeper to keep all of his magical alchemy a secret. And one day a mongoose was in there because he was doing an experiment with live snake hearts. He sniffed out the snake, went there and drank one of his truth potions. And, it's pretty hard not to tell the truth if you can't talk. And so the wizard thought, all right, I'll put a talking spell on you. That's my guess off the mark. Now,
that got more complicated over and over time. Like, I thought it was just going to be he drank the potion and the potion gave him the ability to talk, but you weaved in like lying in there, and then the wizard had to give him speech therapy to make him talk.
I'm working with very little here, so I've got to fill in a lot of blanks. And I would appreciate it, Jackson, if I got some support for that. As opposed to you sitting there and saying that, like, I'm making the story unnecessarily complicated. Are you telling me that it was just a wizard that gave him a talking potion? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm saying you should have dumbed it down a little bit more. We're talking about Jeff the Talking Mongoose here. You don't need to get so elaborate. Sometimes, what is it? Keep it simple, stupid. Sometimes the most, logical outcome is the most simple outcome.
Okay, so the most logical outcome is he was fed a talking potion. Is that where we're at?
By a wizard from the Isle of Man. An Isle of Man wizard. Yes. Which is the most logical outcome or answer. Wizards are definitely involved at the end of the day. That's for sure.
Yeah, we know that, obviously.
Yeah, there's no debate.
Look, you don't have to be a genius to figure that out.
No, it's the Isle of Man. It's got a population of 84,530 wizards. They're all wizards over there.
Wait, is that why it's called the Isle of Man then?
Yeah.
Populated entirely by them, and in their realm, men are the magical bit. Well, the scene is wizards.
They're I imagine, without knowing much about the Isle of Man, I imagine it's a very druidic nation of people. Very in touch or in line with magic, spirituality, and nature.
Isn't it great that much like our ancestors, as soon as we don't know the answer to something, we
Straight to
immediately
magic.
jump to magic. Yep. I mean, the Isle of Man does exist. We know that much, but we can't be bothered to Google it, and therefore it's inhabited entirely by wizards.
Well, isn't it just nicer to live with the assumption that this place is run by wizards? Like,
So much better.
Much cooler.
So much better. Their flag's cool. Have you ever seen that?
No, I haven't. Let me have a look.
Yes.
It's
Is it
a
a
bunch
wizard?
of legs in a circle.
Oh, yeah.
Well, a
yeah,
wizard
I have seen
made that, obviously.
That is very wizard looking to me. That looks like a very,
too.
again, like druidic flag. Connecting 3 legs together. Why? What does that mean?
Something
Some
about
kind
the
of
fact that...
Frankenstein creation.
Yeah, exactly. So, look, if anyone does know anything from the Isle of Man, surely there's a bunch of people there that identify as wizards and warlocks. And our question here on Red Thread is, how many curses have they put on you and how did you get rid of them? Or did you? Maybe you are just that 3 legs typing with your toes onto the keyboard. And if so, please let us know.
I just want to know if there's a single person listening that's from the Isle of Man or currently living in the Isle of Man. And also, how are you listening to our show? How?
Yeah.
How, from the Isle of Man, using wizard waves to connect to our digital output or something like that?
I don't think that you're on Starlink. I think that's a lie. I think that you are using magic.
Magic, yeah. Well, Starlink is a form of magic, to be fair. I don't know how that works. There's like, they shoot up little wizard beams up into the air or something. I don't know how that works. But yeah, Kira was telling me about the Isle of Man language, the Manx Gaelic language. It apparently is extinct, but they're trying to bring it back. And she was showing me all these different, like, what do you call them? The translations online of it, examples of the language. Because they've got like tourist websites set up basically with the language. And she was showing me them and they're fucking wild. It's the strangest sounding language I've ever heard. I think that's just, like, what's the fucking language of Wales? Is it Welsh? Is it Welsh?
Look,
Is it?
I should know more about Wales than I do. That's another one of these mysterious wizard places
Welsh.
to me.
Yeah, it is Welsh. Okay. So yeah, that it sounds like an offshoot of that language. And that language has always been the most confusing language I think ever created whenever I hear it. It's so strange. And this is just an offshoot of that. But the translation examples given on the websites were like really, really strange in of themselves. It was like talking about farts and smelly farts and things like that. What was it, Kira? Do you remember?
Yes.
You don't have to look it up if you just remember.
There was something about farts. There was also about like kissing. And all
Yeah,
that weird
kissing
stuff,
after
yeah.
a fart, and things like that. And this is on their official
Why?
website. I don't know. Very strange wizard people over there that don't.
That is really... I don't know why you would need to communicate that ever.
I think it's because they're stuck on this island full of raw magic. They become very eccentric people, maybe. I mean, we can see that in the story of Jeff the Mongoose, honestly.
Yeah,
So we'll start right now. The story begins in a faraway, isolated farmhouse named Dawlish Cashin, located at Cashin's Gap near the hamlet of Dalby on the Isle of Man. In the farmhouse lived 58-year-old Jim Irving, his wife Margaret, 54, and their young teenager Voiré. In September of 1931, 13-year-old Voiré began to hear strange noises, constant rustling, scratching, and even growling and spitting from inside the wooden panel of the farmhouse walls. And the farmhouse walls were described as like obviously giant stone walls, but then like a few centimeters, maybe like 30 centimeters off the wall, there were wooden panels in front of it, especially on the inside. So there was this gap between the actual foundational wall, the brick, and then the wooden panels, basically. So there was room in between.
Mm-hmm.
At first, they didn't think too much of it, rationalizing the noise as having come from an animal like a cat or ferret or even a rat. The word rat is considered bad luck on the Isle of Man. Instead, the locals opt to call them longtails, which sounds like a slur. It sounds like a rat slur.
It really does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It is like calling a human rat. It's quite de-ratinizing, isn't it?
Very unnecessary. Mean wizards.
Long tail. Oh, it's so British as well. Stop living in the Middle Ages. Oh, it's a long tail, it is.
Bring me the long tail for my experiments, my wizardly experiments. We need more long tails. Isn't like 99% of the population over there long tails though? Didn't the plague, the bubonic plague? I thought there were lots of long tails. Maybe that's why they don't like to call them rats.
Is that why it's bad luck still to this day, do you reckon, the plague?
Well,
Surely it
with
would
the
have
plague,
to
yeah.
hit somewhere like the Isle of Man hard.
Yeah,
There's nowhere to
100%.
run. And
Yeah,
also,
exactly.
if they're talking about their ancient, beautiful languages, they need to be coming back, making out while farting. They don't sound like the most hygienic people, do they?
Well, no, but I think that's just the case of, like you said, being isolated from the rest of British civilization or anything like that. Like, you're stuck on this island. Your mind's going to start to go loopy again, especially with the raw magic in the air and things like that, and the long tails surrounding you. So it makes sense why, the island is full of eccentric people making out while farting, things like that.
These are all very logical answers. Huh?
that is actually the least confusing aspect to the story to me. Yeah, like the fact that these people might be eccentric on this island. Like, you think about it over here in Australia, like usually the most eccentric people are the ones in like rural Tasmania or just anywhere rural, really, like outside of outside of the city centers or anything like that. That's usually where the most eccentric people live.
Farming and island. And yes, it makes a lot of sense why your flag becomes a mutant of 3 legs in a constant spinning wheel of doom.
What does it mean?
I really hope that league isn't conscious.
It's about like resilience and strength and stuff like that.
Okay, and again, a very eccentric interpretation of that. Yes, I have to say. I don't see how that's a particularly resilient design, frankly. I would assume something more like a crab or an eel or something.
Yeah, or a lion or anything else that most countries use to
something that was
symbolize
actually
strength.
Biologically and evolutionarily tested. As opposed to exactly what Jackson said, a Frankenstein experiment that seems to have been one of the many failures that he must have had before he got to the final monster. Just coming up with a 3-legged being and thinking, I don't know what I was thinking.
The 3 legs form a wheel. So my interpretation was like it's a wheel that they're stuck in, like running through a rat. What do they call it? A rat? Yeah, a rat wheel, right? The ones that rats run on when they want to do exercise, like that. I thought maybe the Isle of Man was stuck in a cycle of sorts, and that was their cry for help. Like, get us out of here! We're stuck in this rat race, basically.
Guys, are we on the same page so far? It seems like Kira knows a little bit more about the Isle of Man than we do, but Jackson, you agree? The Isle of Man is already disturbing me a lot. No?
Well, yes. Without being offensive or anything like that, because we may have a single Isle of Man listener listening in, wishing to be free of the curse of the Isle of Man.
But again, they're doing it by looking into magic water in a pool. That is how they're tuning in.
It's probably just like the most mundane place on the planet. Like, you go there, it's just like the most normal place ever, but we're talking about it in terms of like it's Narnia, basically.
It does look like it, doesn't it?
It does look like Narnia, yeah.
It looks like Narnia.
Anyway, very interesting place. The family, though, set traps, but the creature never took the bait. One day, in frustration, Jim growled back like a dog at the strange noise, hoping to scare it away, but to his surprise, it growled back in response. We have a quote here from the book Jeff, the Strange Tale of an Extra Special Talking Mongoose, which is apparently a non-fiction book. By the title, it sounds like a children's, drawn book. What do you call them? Just a children's book, I guess they're called.
Yes.
Jeff, the Strange Tale of an Extra Special Talking Mongoose. Sounds like something I would have read when I was 8 years old. Quote, the noise continued for a few days, and then they began to hear particular animal noises, such as the blowing of a stoat? What's a stoat? That's like a small rat, right?
I think that is... I thought that it was more of a mongoose thing itself.
Yeah, similar to a mongoose, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Some kind of like rat-like creature. Anyway, the blowing of a stoat or ferret, the spitting of a cat, and the barking of a dog. These noises continued for some time, and the narrator becomes perturbed, made efforts to trap the animal, but without success. The family had by this time gained the impression that their uninvited guest was a stray cat, stoat, or weasel. End quote. So that's the introduction. This is when this Jeff the Mongoose first showed up.
I think we all understand that going to the gym is great for your health, but did you know that there's other things that you need to do for your health, such as check out boils when they emerge, and probably going on a diet if you're getting on the tubby side? I, obviously, am perfect, but if I wasn't, I would be going to ZocDoc. It's a free website where you can immediately search and compare a bunch of high-quality in-network doctors, and we're talking from every single walk. Mental health doctors, emergency doctors, specialized doctors. It's over 100,000 on their database, and you can book them on the same app. Once you pick the right doctor, you can see their actual appointments in real time, and then you just pick one that suits you, and then you're done. It's in. I'll tell you, if I ever need this product, and I suspect that I'll be at the same level of health that I am until the grim death of me dying at probably 265 years old. That's what I'm guessing I'll live to. If I ever did, however, I would be choosing ZocDoc. So stop putting up those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/redthread to instantly book a doctor's appointment today. That's ZocDoc.com/redthread, ZocDoc.com/redthread.
Hey guys, it's Jackson here, cutting in to tell you about the sponsor of this week's episode, AG1. AG1 is someone we stand by. It's the perfect morning companion. If the goal of yours is to get the best micronutrients and probiotics into your morning each morning, then you need AG1. It's super easy. As someone who previously doesn't like taking supplements, it's just so very tedious and usually very disgusting. AG1 cuts through all of that noise and all of that difficulty and packages it in a way that is very easy for myself, to accomplish that goal each morning without any issues, because all I'm doing is taking a glass of water as well as a scoop from AG1, putting it in the water, stirring it up in nice cold water, and shotgunning that bad boy down. Not that I need to, because it really doesn't taste bad. It tastes good, actually. There's no real taste issue with AG1, contrary to all the other supplements that I've ever tried, really. There's always a very bitter, gross taste to most supplements that I've tried. AG1 does not have that issue. So for that fact alone, like, it's a slam dunk for me. It's very easy to take due to that. And I know that I'm doing the right thing for my body by getting those micronutrients and probiotics in there to help support my gut biome and everything else across my body that needs support. And so just knowing that you're doing that at the start of the day really does set your day up in the best way possible. Even just mentally, knowing that you're taking that positive step at the very start of the day, it really does set you up for a great rest of your day, because you feel like you're getting off on the right foot. So highly recommend AG1. And also, they've just introduced AGZ, their new sleep formula. Basically, it's a sleep aid that will help you wind down at night. So as a person who struggles with sleep and struggles usually with turning off the work side of my brain, there's many times where I'll just be working very late into the night, and then a switch will flip and I'll need to sleep for the following day. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there with that same kind of issue. AGZ has been perfect, because I can just hop off work, take my my hot chocolate basically with the AGZ in it, and I feel like I'm ready to wind down for sleep now. So fantastic new product from AG1. That's AGZ, their sleep formula. Highly recommend you check that out as well if it sounds at all interesting. I've been trying AGZ for the last few weeks on top of my AG1 ritual in the beginning of the morning. I have AGZ later on at night. And again, it just puts you in the right mental mind state for sleep, because you're taking a proactive step to benefit your sleep process. And I find that even just that mental act of doing that really does set you up in the right place to accomplish your goal, which is to sleep well. So highly recommend both of them. Go check them out. Have a look at the products, of course, and then go from there, especially if it sounds at all interesting to you. So if you're ready to turn down the stress and focus on the rest, head to drinkag1.com/redthread to get a free frother with your first purchase of AGZ. That's drinkag1.com/redthread to get a free frother, which will make your nighttime drinks very delicious. So highly recommend you go take advantage of that offer at drinkag1.com/redthread. And of course, AG1, their morning supplements are still there as well for you to take advantage of Highly recommend you go check them out. They're great, and we really appreciate AG1 over here at Red Thread. They've been long-time supporters, so big thank you to AG1. And now, back to the episode. Let's continue talking about that wily little mongoose. Chapter 2, My Name's Jeff. The strange creature in the wall began to mimic birds and other animals and noises. It sounded like a baby learning to talk, cooing and gurgling in an attempt to form words. Voire would sing nursery rhymes to the strange voice, asking tentatively if it could repeat the songs. The squeaky but distinguishable voice would. It wasn't long before it could speak with ease, introducing itself to the Irving family as Jeff, which is not pronounced Geff, even though it's spelled with a G, it is pronounced Jeff. And this wall resident story was quite incredible. Jeff told the family that he was, quote, an extra clever mongoose, end quote. For those not aware, a mongoose is a small terrestrial carnivorous mammal that looks similar to a meerkat. They are not known to speak. This one was different.
Well, I'm glad that, see, this is the whole thing. You think that you're coming in here for silly talks, but no, we go through all of the facts methodically here. And
yeah, luckily we have Kira on the case to research whether or not meerkats and stuff are known to speak historically. This is an abnormality. Jeff claimed that he was born in Delhi, India in 1852. I wasn't expecting India to make an appearance here. What the fuck?
Nor was I expecting 1852.
Well, yeah, true. Making him around 80 years old at the time, so that would put this story at about 1930, if I'm correct. A nearby neighbor had imported mongooses to the Isle of Man approximately 20 years earlier, as they had a bad rabbit problem in the area, and that is how Jeff had immigrated. Do you think he needed to go through a visa process as well? He picked up the language rather well, open to talking to Voire and her father, but seemed less favorable to Margaret, that bitch. Then, this is a quote again from Jeff, the strange tale of an extra special talking mongoose. Quote, then on October 20th, the father and daughter were given their glimpse of it, and they described it as possessing a small rat-like body with a long bushy tail, body and tail being of yellowish hue and the tail speckled brown. Early in December, they began to hear noises similar to a baby child beginning to talk, and before long, they heard definite words issuing from the walls. Maybe they were like suffering from CO poisoning or something. What do you think already? You have any ideas?
The only thing that I've got so far, because it's gone into italics, and every time it seems to go into italics in these documents, I'm immediately convinced for some reason.
As soon as you hear first-hand accounts.
It might be first-hand accounts. It might be also the fact that it always looks like some journal entry. And as soon as you hit journal entries, you think, well, I wasn't there. What do I know? There was no photographs of it. So I'm currently of the opinion that it is a talking mongoose. And as soon as we get back into the factual writing, I'll be like, no, that's silly. What do you think?
Okay, so I think as we're going on with Red Thread, we're defining our roles a little bit more, which is nice. I think you can be the bumbling idiot who believes everything that they hear. That's great. That's great for the show's content.
I don't know if that's a role, Jackson. I think that's just me.
It's a lifestyle, yes.
It's a lifestyle.
Whereas I can be the skeptic, which is nice. Then we've got a little bit of difference here. And then Kira can be the nerd who actually knows everything.
But then that just means there's two skeptics.
No,
this is a very unfair X-Files dynamic, I have to say. Well, we just got two Moulders and one Scully.
Yeah. Bring along our stupid friend to laugh at.
It can't be called that at that point. What is the X-Files then? The X-Files is just laughing at Mulder, the show.
Yeah, basically.
It becomes a laugh track. So neither of you are on board with any of this. You don't think there's a lick of truth?
In my role as skeptic, I am not convinced yet.
Further evidence required.
Yes, please.
Very skeptical of you.
We'll see though. As any skeptic, any good skeptic should be, I am open to being convinced. Whereas you already.
I'm not open to being convinced.
Yeah.
I'm closed to being unconvinced.
What does that even mean? All right. This is continuation of the quote. They were more curious than frightened and tried to test their abnormal guest with little pieces of nursery rhyme. And before a week was out, they were hearing the rhymes repeated in a clear voice, end quote. Jeff nested and lived in Voiray's room in a boxed partition that the family named Jeff's sanctum. See, that's very wizardry. That's wizardy already. Jeff's
Everything
sanctum?
is.
They built like a boxed partition. We can see it in this picture here. It's like a sealed off room where he was said to live in. So separate to the family. His presence within the family began to become normal. Reports of his behavior came across rather theatrical. He once said to the family, quote, I am a freak. I have hands and feet, and if you saw me, you'd faint. You'd be petrified, mummified, turned into stone or a pillar of salt. End quote. If he was chatting to a member of the family but grew tired, he would yell out, vanished, and scamper off to somewhere unknown. He was incredibly dramatic. Jeff sounds awesome. He sounds like a theater student, but Mongoose version.
I mean, everybody listening, you'd all want a pet mongoose that could talk, especially if it's, bringing the party, it seems.
Doesn't it always sound awesome to have pets that can talk until you've probably realized that the things that they say are probably so useless to you? Like they just constantly probably say food, 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 or something like that. You know, it wouldn't be like the most intelligent of conversations, I'm sure.
What do you reckon about a pet chimp? Would that be all right, chat?
We're not live.
They have a good talk or not really?
Huh? A chimpanzee.
Oh, no, I'm not saying, yo, chat. I'm saying, chat, what do you think about it? We're not live.
I thought you were delusional. You're seeing some like random Twitch streams chat and thinking we were live at the moment or something like that.
I don't like how much our brains have morphed with the internet that I also immediately thought, Twitch? Is that why you use the word chat? Yeah. I had the same response you did to myself, and I know what I was talking about. I'm saying,
like, what am I saying right now?
I'm saying, do you reckon that a chimp would be a good podcast host? Obviously not, because they can only speak in sign language, but the amount of language that they have, what do you reckon? That'd be all right, wouldn't it?
I would love to see a monkey co-host the Jeff Rogan Experience. That would be fucking hype.
And so would he.
Yeah, I mean that would be incredible. Can you imagine those two together on a podcast?
I don't know if the chimp would be particularly fond of Joe Rogan, but Joe Rogan would be very fond of the chimp.
He'd be showing the monkey other videos of monkeys at the same time.
Yes.
You'd be like, check out what your kind's doing, man.
And probably priming him into getting beaten up, talking about how violent chimps are.
Turn into a wrestling match.
That would be incredible.
Jeff, though, would keep his days busy, leaving the house and going on adventures, pottering around the island. He would ride atop cars and buses. Unfortunately, he didn't hop in like a human with a bus pass. Instead, he opted to hop onto the back axles of the vehicles. Bit of a daredevil. He was quite nosy, often eavesdropping on the local town chatter and gossip, which he would relay back to the Irving family. He also took on the role as the family guard mongoose. But mongoose are like really good against snakes, right?
Apparently so. That's what they're known for.
I think they are used in like India and such to guard against snakes. Yeah, I think they're like highly specialized at killing snakes, but I don't remember why. Anyway, alerting the family to guests coming onto the property or if unfamiliar animals like a dog approached. If a fire was accidentally left on overnight, he would turn it off to keep the family safe. He would wake someone if they overslept. And he made sure pests like mice were taken care of. Rabbits that had been mysteriously strangled were also left at the home for Margaret to cook up. That sounds useful. Little mongoose hunter-gatherer going out and looking after you and also talking to you every now and then, telling you good jokes and being dramatic. This sounds awesome.
Waking you up if you overslept.
Yeah. What's wrong with this so far, Kiro?
You'll see.
Oh. What, does he kill them all in their sleep or something? Just turn homicidal? He was a part of the family, and they would feed Jeff bananas, chocolate, biscuits, and even bacon and sausages left in a saucer up high on the ceiling crossbeams. Jeff would also accompany the family on trips to the market, lingering in nearby bushes while following, close enough to chat but still far away and hidden enough from others. Okay, so they're still the only people that have seen Jeff, right, Kira?
Yes.
Okay, so this is plausible deniability. So they're saying that he went out with them a lot, but he would always hide if other people were around, providing rationale for why no one else has seen Jeff before.
So far.
And Jordan is fully convinced. He wasn't a perfect mongoose, truth be told. Jeff had a bit of a temper and could be quite cheeky. He once overheard a rather indecent version of Home on the Range and began to sing it around the home, much to Margaret's disdain, who said, "You know, Jeff, you are no animal," she would yell at him, to which he replied, "Of course not, I am the Holy Ghost." Yes, good old mongoose humor. He enjoyed annoying Jim and Margaret, especially, often throwing stones and pebbles at Margaret as she walked into her home. One time she called out, "Is that you, Jeff?" To which he replied, "Yes, Maggie the witch woman, the Zulu woman, the Honolulu woman." Jesus. Jeff's going a bit wild here. He really doesn't like this Margaret.
And also, why is Honolulu woman an insult?
I don't think it was an insult. I think it's just rhymes with Zulu.
Oh. So he's also...
He's rapping.
He's a
SoundCloud rapper. Yeah, that.
Man, it really shows how unintegrated with the internet I am and how integrated you are.
Yeah.
Jackson, your immediate reference is SoundCloud rapper, and mine is Dr. Zeus. Which I think these people would know who Dr. Zeus is.
Yeah. Chat,
and
let us know if you know who Dr.
Zeus
Zeus is.
Yo, chat.
Yo, chat. You're seeing voices
what do
in your
you
head.
think about his rhymes? What do you think about his rhymes? Are they all right or what?
If Jim
Let us know,
back,
Chad.
If Jim sat
Jesus,
back to
Chat's
enjoy
been awfully silent.
Yeah, why is no one
Jeff's
responding
doing all
right
the
now?
talking here. Chat's saying nothing.
Yeah, we've got no one in chat currently. If Jordan's going insane already.
Damn,
it's only been 2 pages.
We fell off. Yeah, I like this story a lot.
If Jim sat back to
one,
enjoy
because
and
it's
read
obviously
the morning,
real, but the second one, sorry, yeah, you continue on, but it's great. This is so much better than learning about people battering ram someone's genitals until they die. I like this.
What was that
Let's
from?
say a lighter story. Wasn't that in
the
Snowtown?
Yeah, I thought you were. I'm still Chris Chan on my brain, so I was thinking you were referring to a Chris Chan story. I'm like, what the fuck? When did that happen?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that far off. It's not that far off in that story, honestly.
Nah.
If Jim sat back to enjoy and read the morning newspaper but was too slow to open the paper in time, he would receive abuse from Jeff, who also enjoyed the post. He'd scream out, "Read it out, you fat-headed gnome," in a fit of urgency. The locals were also beginning to notice that little things were getting stolen, like sandwiches from the local bus depot. Employees actually set up a trap underneath some of the bushes. No, buses, not bushes. I was about to say bussies.
Boosters.
Boosters. Jeff's better at English than I am. Employees actually set up a trap underneath some bussies and around the area designed to trap and electrocute whatever was weaseling around. It's not a weasel, it's a fucking mongoose, Kira. Stop with this wordplay. Jim had learnt of this and warned Jeff, who then informed him that he wasn't afraid of this and knew the trap was on a specific bus, the number 82. When Jim later checked this, he realized Jeff was correct. So he's definitely intelligent, this Jeff guy.
Smart boy.
He knows what's going on. Jeff would slowly begin to show himself to the Irvin family, not in a sexual way, but these moments were infrequent. Sometimes he'd walk along the structural beams around the house, which would give the family a good look at him. They tried to see him more. Voiré would often hide to catch a glimpse. Margaret would look in cracks in the walls, sometimes placing her fingers inside, which would ultimately be scratched by Jeff. These moments were regrets to Jeff, who assured the family that the scratches were accidents and he never intended for Margaret to bleed. That's so metal. That's such a metal sentence. He never intended for Margaret to bleed. I don't agree. I think Jeff had it out for Margaret based on all the other sentences that I've read so far. He definitely didn't seem to like Margaret very much.
He was a bit of an asshole.
Why was he mean to Margaret? Do we know?
Didn't like her.
Yeah, but why? Just because she was a old woman?
Maybe.
Okay, so we don't know.
No, we don't know.
They would ask Jeff to allow them to get a photograph of him, but he refused for a long time until he finally agreed to let Voyre take a picture of him. He told her he would be on a gate up the road, and she hurriedly got some camera equipment and made her way there herself. Unfortunately, Voyre was nervous and also not very experienced using the camera, and so she did not get a very good picture. These images are highly debated amongst scientific communities as they are not focused and it's hard to make out what is on the gate. Some argue it looks like a cat or a stuffed toy. And so now we have 3 pictures here of Jeff on a wooden fence. Yeah, you be the judge. Certainly interesting pictures. Sounds like she had all the time in the world to take good photos too, since he was basically doing a modeling shoot for her. He was like, yeah. I'll meet you up at the gate. And yet still, it's got that classic cryptid photo hallmark of being extremely blurry, out of focus, looking like it was taken from 500 meters away. You know, it's got that kind of look to it.
Does. One of them looks like he was a soldier from Moscow on the trenches in the background. Don't you reckon? That one's really far away and doesn't look like it's the same environment as the other two. And the other 2 photos where he doesn't look like that, he looks like a hat.
Yeah, he looks like a hat or a stuffed toy, I would say.
Looks like stuffed toy to me.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I feel like that would be easy to rule out. Like you could just find that exact stuffed toy in Voyre's possession, surely, if you wanted to disprove this. Unless she like burnt it afterwards. But regardless, I think the more prominent thing is in picture 2, it appears that the picture itself is haunted because I can see a weird ghostly smiley face on the wooden pole. Can you guys see that?
Oh, yeah.
What is that? Just a smiley face there. Very weird. Very bizarre. Scary.
Yes.
Chapter 3, Fame and Investigations. Slowly, the news of this strange talking creature began to spread throughout the town of Dalby. It was a small, rather tight-knit community, after all. The exact date is unknown, but around the end of 1931 or early 1932, the local newspaper, Isle of Man Examiner, began to run stories about the so-called Dalby Spook, a talking animal rumored to be in the area. There was definitely an amusing mocking tone to the article, which led to Voyre actually receiving heavy ridicule about Jeff. Articles would mention a talking weasel and also jokingly dubbed Voyre as possibly being a ventriloquist. The title of the article says, "Clue to mystery of talking weasel. Schoolgirl may have powers of ventriloquism." From our own reporter.
The second sentence seems more whimsical than the talking weasel.
Yeah, exactly. Schoolgirl may have powers
of ventriloquism.
Yeah.
Everything always is referred to in a very not this world way. The Isle of Man, I'm sorry, we were already talking about this before, but everything about it just sounds so mysterious. It's, if Round the Twist was a medieval nation, it's great.
It's an incredible place.
They can't say anything with factual certainty there. It's like it's impossible.
I think that's how foreigners think of Australia, though, as well. Just because we're so cut off from the rest of the world, basically. Like, I think
a magic land.
Well, yeah, just a bizarro land, right?
Oh, we are upside down world.
Yeah, exactly. That, and all the animals want to kill us and so on. Like, it's just, I think we've probably got the same vibe. Like, the Isle of Man people probably look at us like, geez, lucky we don't live in Australia. Luckily, we're just here with the wizards.
But I think that they would imagine a bunch of Steve Irwins punching crocodiles in the head.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm imagining that their next door neighbor is that leg creature and sitting there and think, do you have a head? How come there's a talking weasel here and you can't talk? We'll put him on the flag.
Wait, was Jeff talking Isle of Man, like the Gaelic language, or was he talking English? Or Indian?
Was it extinct by then? Probably not.
No, surely not.
Maybe that was how people spoke.
Oh, it was English, Kira? It's probably English then. Kira's finding out. I'll continue talking.
Yeah, by the 1930s, sorry, Jackson, their language, Manx Gaelic, was no longer used.
Okay, so he was talking in English. Gotcha. An interesting article also came out in March of 1932 titled The Dalby Spook Again, which mentioned two friends of the Irving family that had apparently also heard of Jeff, who was named Jack in the article. We have a quote from the article right here that says, "The Dalby Spook Again, man who heard it sing, curse, and dance. It is with some feeling of trepidation I reintroduce what has become known far and wide as the Dalby Spook, or the talking animal of Doolish Cashin. But the testimony of two visitors who state definitely, they have heard and conversed with the strange animal, half mongoose, half weasel, is ample excuse. They are father and son, friends of long standing of Mr. and Mrs. Irving, who, while on the island, determined to see for themselves. The elder of the two listened for 3 hours to conversations between Mr. Irving, who treats it as one would a child, and this voice from the void. But it is to the story of the son, a bright, intelligent youth of about 18 or 19 years, that I will particularly refer. They desire to cloud their identity, but it may be said that they are well-educated folk staying at a leading Douglas hotel and are desperately in earnest." I don't know why, but
what does that even mean?
That's what I've said. Like, it's so hard to read these old-timey newspapers because none of the words, like, they've organized in such bizarre ways that it's like breaks my brain trying to comprehend it. They had no hesitation in disclosing their names to me. The young man said, "I went to the Irving's house about 6:30 last night, and on entering the house, I was greeted with 'Hello, Arthur,' in a high-pitched voice. Mr. Irving said he was told, Jack, the spook, that I was coming. At first, it was friendly, repeating in parrot fashion, 'Good old Arthur, you are a great lad,' and so on. Then it took a turn.
And so on. And in that fashion.
3 hours of talking about how great I was.
Most pleasantly. Yeah.
Then it took a turn on cursing me. I never was so cursed in my life. The animal sang a Scotch dialect song, and when the gramophone was put on, beat time loudly on the boards of the ceiling. About 9 o'clock it said, 'I'm going over to the Kellys to hear what they have to say,' and it vanished." End quote. I'm convinced there's too many people now that have attested to the existence of Jeff the Mongoose.
I'm in agreement.
What do you think? Do your best Jeff the Mongoose impression.
What do you reckon his voice is? Okay, so it's high-pitched.
High-pitched, yeah.
All right. What do you reckon?
Well, I imagine it sounds like a mongoose.
And also, it's probably Indian, right?
Oh, God.
That's probably. I reckon that's what Jeff the Mongoose sounded like.
Pleased to meet you.
Pleased to meet you. You fat whore. Fuck you. I hope you're dying the well. Get in the well, you fat bitch. That's what I think he sounded like.
Perfect.
What do you reckon?
That's what I want to hear coming from the walls late at night.
Huh?
Yeah. Perfect.
That would be terrifying, wouldn't it?
Some high-pitched Indian living in my walls? Yeah.
I am quite perplexed at how magical the Isle of Man is that this guy doesn't seem that shocked. He pretty much just reports back and says, he was lovely for the first couple of hours and then he got quite rude and then that's about it. But you're talking to a magic animal.
Quite ungentlemanly.
I don't know. It feels like, I suppose it's a newspaper and they have to stick to the facts. But, you know, no one seems to be this. People are more amazed by this woman that can do ventriloquism, which... He
sounds less like interested in the fact that there's a talking mongoose and more interested in the fact that he was ungentlemanly and un-British. Like, he cursed me a lot.
That's more shocking to him. Being rude.
Yeah. It's very dry.
What a time to be alive.
Now
that I'm thinking about it, honestly, I do think that that's how the average British person would have thought in the 1800s. They would have thought that gnomes, elves, talking mongoose, all real phenomenon, though they haven't seen them. So it'd be a bit like going, oh, yeah, okay, so that's what the Three Gorges Dam looks like. Okay, yeah, fair enough. It'd be that to them. But someone sitting there and making fun of someone's weight would be unthinkable. That would be the true realm of mysticism.
How dare you? Yeah, that kind of attitude. Goddamn mongoose. All of this attention began to grow the story of this talking mongoose, which gained the attention of a particular man named Harry Price. And that photo of Harry Price there on the left goes hard. What the fuck is that?
I know,
Now,
right?
there is a man that is a clairvoyant. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That is a master ventriloquist if I've ever seen one. In fact,
that
I'm
guy
sure that
is a dummy.
that's what I was gonna say. The fucking very talented the schoolgirl or whatever. That's her dummy. Her hand is up his ass right now, controlling everything that he's doing. 100%. Harry Price is a confirmed ventriloquist dummy. He's part of it. Bryce was a British psychic researcher and author who would look into psychical. Is that a word? Psychical. Who would look into psychical phenomena.
It is a word.
Oh, okay. He was also a skeptic who would also expose frauds. He traveled to the Isle of Man in 1935 with friend Richard S. Lambert, a biographer, historian, and broadcaster, and together they wrote The Haunting of Cashin's Gap, released in 1936. But Price wasn't the first person to investigate Jeff. His investigation came later. Instead, it was his friend Captain James MacDonald who first investigated the case of Jeff. They sent military people in to investigate Jeff, Captain James MacDonald. That sounds like a war hero. Who's this
Serious
guy?
business.
Report from MacDonald to Price, quote, on my first day, the Irvings showed me cracks in the farmhouse walls that they said the mongoose spied on visitors. I was there until midnight, but the mongoose was silent. As I was leaving to go, a voice screamed, "Who is that bloody man?" Irving grabbed my arm. "That's not an animal," he said. Jeff didn't like MacDonald, complaining to Jim after he left, saying, "I've been looking at the man and I don't like him. He is a doubter." He continued to make his distaste very well known. MacDonald was over the following day having tea when a needle flew across the room, presumably thrown. It then bounced off the teapot. MacDonald looked at Jim Irving in disbelief, with Jim saying, "Yeah, he always throwing things at us." Jeff continued to make harsh noises, screeching and screaming. He'd throw things around, even pushing over a chair upstairs so it landed with a loud thud. MacDonald almost caught a glimpse of Jeff when he heard the mongoose and Margaret arguing upstairs. It's like a fucking sitcom. What is this place? Is this being filmed? This has to be a television series. He slowly began to creep up the stairwell, but accidentally tripped and fell noisily down to the bottom. Yeah, I mean, it is. It's slapstick. This is like peak slapstick 1930s comedy.
It is. Totally.
And thus Jeff was alerted. Jeff screamed, "He's coming, the dirty old sleech," and fled back into hiding. What is a sleech? I've never heard that word before. It's more obviously it's an insult.
Yeah, let me look that up. Sleech.
Ooze or fine mud deposited by a river or sea.
So just mud. Okay. He never showed up again or even made a noise while MacDonald was around. He did go back a few years later and Jeff stayed in hiding, but MacDonald did hear him speak again on that occasion. He was also given a lock of the mongoose's hair, a component to the story that we'll touch back on soon. All of the strange reporting from MacDonald prompted Price to visit the family himself, and the man arrived on July 30th, 1935. His accompanying partner, Lambert, was there to be a witness in case Jeff actually showed himself. When Jeff heard that they were coming, he was annoyed, even saying he preferred MacDonald over Price visiting, saying, quote, "I like Captain MacDonald, but not Harry Price. He's the man who puts the kibosh on the spirits." End quote. To put kibosh on something means to end or stop something. When they arrived, Jeff was uncharacteristically silent. The Irving family tried to lure him out, tried to force him to make a sound, but he didn't take the bait. Some would claim that it was almost like he wasn't there. Price and Lambert wrote about this in their research diaries. It was no surprise that once the two men left, Jeff suddenly reappeared after, quote, "a little holiday," end quote. He told Jim he refused to show up for Price and Lambert as they were doubters. Frustrated, Jim managed to convince Jeff to make imprints of his teeth and paws on some clay that they sent on to Price to try to prove his existence. And here we have a quote from Price and Lambert, the people who were sent to research it. Quote, The Irvings were kindness personified. They did everything for us except produce Jeff. However, Mr. Irving personally conducted us all over the house and pointed out Jeff's haunts. We saw numerous peepholes, cracks through which Jeff threw things at doubting visitors, squint holes through which the Mongoose watched the Irvings and interrupted the conversations with facetious and sometimes rude remarks. We saw the runs behind the paneling by means of which Jeff can skip unseen from one room to another, upstairs or down. In Voire's room, we were shown Jeff's sanctum, really a box partition, on top of which Jeff dances to the gramophone and bounces his favorite ball. About midnight, we decided that Jeff had no intention of coming into the open and that we had better go home. We'd spent many pleasant hours under the hospitable roof of the Irving farmstead, but we could not determine whether in our role of investigators we had taken part in a farce or a tragedy. End quote. So no one has seen Jeff apart from the Irving family, which does not bode well for the existence of Jeff. They weren't the only ones to try and expose Jeff or the scam that had created his supposed existence. A research officer for the International Institute of Psychical Research, Nandor Fodor, stayed with the Irving family for a while to see or hear the mysterious Mongoose. But similarly to Price, he never even heard Jeff once. He wrote a diary while living with the Irving family where he documented tales from the family and also locals in the area, including from two cousins named Harry Hall and Will Cubbin, pictured on the screen right now. They said that they saw Jeff in Cubbin's own yard, detailing his yellowish fur and bushy tail, complete with a black spot. Jeff would play with them when they went over to the Irving household, guessing heads or tails on some coins or catching a rubber ball that they would throw towards him. After a while, Jeff's demeanor towards the boys supposedly began to change, with Jeff routinely yelling at the boys and even spitting on them. And this is the quote from the diary entry from these two cousins, I think. Did it say cousins? Yes, cousins.
Yep.
Quote, I did the penny trick in the kitchen at the far end of the window. It made no difference. Jeff guessed right. I threw a rubber ball into the loft through the hole in the ceiling in Voire's room. As soon as I stepped out of the room, the rubber ball was thrown back. When I went down the stairs, Jeff spit upon my back. I don't know where he was when he spat, but I heard it. It was a tiny squirt. End quote. Okay, so Jordan, thoughts so far?
I'm very much liking the mischievous element that has been uncovered on this Mongoose weasel character. That's great. I also like the fact that he's becoming more accepted in the community. People
more assertive.
More assertive. That's actually a better word for it. More assertive. Letting him know who's boss. And also, I like how it's getting really official. International Institute of Psychic Research.
Psychical research. I don't know what that means. I mean, I guess it means psychic, but still. Institute.
Yeah, me too. I'm guessing that's what it means.
Psychical research. Does it still exist?
There is words that don't exist anymore. They are extinct, like mannish.
Okay, so the International Institute for Psychical Research, or the IIPR, was a short-lived psychical organization based in London that was formed in 1934. It was criticized by scientists for its spiritualist leanings and non-scientific approach to the subject. Good start.
Scientists criticizing it for not being scientific. Wouldn't they?
Yeah, fucking nerds. Underneath the investigations header, it says the International Institute for Psychical Research utilized a seance room for testing spiritualist mediums. So very scientific.
Why was it short-lived?
Yeah, why? Why did they give up on this? If they had just waited a little bit, this would have been very popular amongst TikTok witches. They should have waited.
Yeah, just a mere 80 years.
Struggled during World War II.
Oh, yeah.
Library and records were
to find the
destroyed
funds.
by the bombing raids.
It was bombed?
It was bombed.
That was the main
They should have seen that.
target.
No. But it's library and records.
This is
were
great that we are
destroyed
shocked by this 80-year-old news.
Breaking news. Institute for Psychical Research bombed. Oh no. If only we could go back in time and stop it. This is our Pearl Harbor, actually. What's funny is imagining that Hitler may have bombed it because he was afraid of the psychical warfare that these London psychics were waging against him. So he
That would be up his alley, wouldn't it?
Honestly, yeah.
I could
believe it.
imagine him being freaked out by that.
Yeah, I would be. Hey, if I found out that
so
there
would
were
I.
TikTok witches out there performing curses on me from afar, I'd be like, I wouldn't believe it, but I would still be a little bit intimidated.
I would definitely bomb it just for good measure. Just in
to be
case.
safe.
Just to be safe.
Just to
What do you-
prove that your curses mean nothing to me, I will bomb you.
But they can't curse if they're in a million different places. That's how you do it.
Have you seen those old, the old like posts from different witches online talking about how they're in astral projection warfare against people like Allah, like gods and stuff, and that they need help from other witches to join the fight?
No, I have not.
It's so good. It's a rabbit hole you need to go down. It's so good. I love those posts from witches.
Can I just ask, how popular are these posts?
Pretty popular, honestly. Like that whole scene is only growing in popularity.
How do you even know about that scene?
Because it's popular.
So not up your alley.
Hey, I mean, you don't know me.
Oh, it is.
I might be a witch. No, but yeah, I mean, it's popular, so of course I hear about it.
Right, okay. What do you think about this, Mongoose?
Me?
Yeah, so far.
I think that, well, as a skeptic, I think that it's fake. I think that Mongoose ain't real, but I also think that there might be a more, like the easy answer is just to say they were faking it for attention. But I like the theory that they it was like mass hysteria / mass hallucination, basically mass hallucination between the family, and they weren't aware that they were making it up, maybe because it seems so convoluted that it kind of just been a little hoax played by them, because they seem to sincerely believe in its existence, and also they don't like that it existed, as we'll come to learn. Like, they don't like Jeff the Mongoose. They seem almost very troubled by it. So yeah, I don't think that I think that they made it up, but I think that it might have been like severe mental illness that caused them to make it up, and they themselves were convinced of its existence, which is really interesting dynamic. What do you think, Kira?
I'm on the same boat as you.
Yeah, you think that they made it up, but they weren't aware that they made it up?
That's definitely a possibility. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves, because we come to chapter 4, which is titled The Evidence. So that is that is always a very promising chapter to dive into when we're talking about a cryptid. I love talking about the evidence. Jeff's uniqueness extended to his paws. He was said to be very dexterous and could do things like pick up rocks and light a match and throw objects, for example. He claimed to the family that he had 3 fingers and a thumb on each hand. Jim once described his paws as looking like a child's hands with long fingers. Though he had been convinced to make impressions of his paws, he complained quite a bit during the process. Finally, though, they got the prints and sent it off to Price to look at. In this picture on the screen right now, you can see the apparent impressions that Jeff made. 3 are of his paws. One is his teeth marks. I am assuming the bottom right would be his teeth marks. Price took them to the Natural History Museum for proper evaluation, but researcher Reginald Pocock, of course, very, very, very British sounding name, Reginald Pocock, could not identify the prints. He only concluded that one could have been from a dog. He wrote back to Price, quote, "There is no mammal in which there is such disparity in the size of the fore and the hind foot. I do not believe these photographs represent foot tracks at all. Most certainly, none of them were made by a mongoose." End correspondence. We can't forget about the hair sample that was given to MacDonald as well, pictured right now on the screen. This actually... This picture of the fucking hair thing, speaking of Dr. Seuss, I thought this was like from a Dr. Seuss book. Look at it. Yeah. It looks like one of the trees from, I don't remember the fucking name, the Lorax, maybe? Like a Lorax tree.
Yeah.
It looks very Dr. Seussy. So maybe you're onto something here with your Dr. Seuss theory. I wouldn't discount it. He sent it forward to Price, who then sought the help of naturalist F. Martin Duncan. After evaluating the hair, he had an interesting opinion. He carefully inspected the hair microscopically and came to the definite opinion that the hair did not belong to a mongoose, nor something of similar nature like a rabbit, hare, squirrel, or rodent. Did he rule out the Lorax? Could it have been?
Yeah. No, he didn't, did he?
No, of course not.
Caught.
He believes it may have come from a dog.
That came from a dog.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess. What is which part's the hair and like, what is this stuff on the
What's
end?
this little spotlight cotton bud at the end of it?
It's like a tuft and then a long strands. It's very strange.
I'm assuming the strand on the left is the hair. Maybe that stuff that's like sprouting out at the end is like what's sticking it to the piece of paper. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Because that's the part that's confusing me. The red bit at the end. Like the rest looks like hair, sure. Anyway, the Irving family did have a dog, a sheepdog named Mona. On one of Price's trips to the Irvings, he had collected a sample of Mona's hair. He sent this sample back to Duncan, who compared the two samples of hair, and astonishingly and unbelievably, both samples came back identical, which of course indicates that Jeff is highly intelligent and capable of framing less intelligent animals.
Oh, poor Mona.
That's what we got from that.
Well, I like it.
Yeah.
Jeff the Mongoose outsmarts you again. This is something else that we haven't really noted before, but Jeff the Mongoose not only can talk, not only definitely had an Indian accent, but he was also very smart. We didn't pay that before.
He did say he's an extra clever mongoose.
That is true. Kira's bringing the facts and logic right now.
But
there is
don't you think it's sort of implied that if it could speak, it would be an extra clever mongoose?
No, well, there's a lot of people that can
Meowth.
speak that aren't intelligent.
That's also true. And maybe you should think about that at home. Think before you speak.
Yeah. Think about
Sometimes
that one,
the most
chat.
silent amongst us are the smartest. Yes, chat. awfully silent on this one, aren't you, chat?
You're winning arguments against people that don't exist.
Man, we own chat every episode. They are
It's
stunned,
so easy to
speechless.
take that, chat.
I'm very disappointed in chat. Feel like we're shadow boxing.
Yeah, I like the idea of you like just living your day-to-day normal life, just constantly referring to chat as well in real life.
Oh no, please!
Like, what are those permanent?
I don't like that
online
idea.
people?
Oh, 21st century insanity. You know what that reminds me of? It's sort of like I'm a cyborg on the fritz.
Yeah,
Feels like I'm
breaking down,
functioning.
All right, where was I?
You were at your sample on examination.
Okay, thank you. Quote, your sample on examination is absolutely identical with the alleged mongoose hairs. They all came from the same animal, the dog, and not the mongoose, Duncan wrote to Price, completely ruling out the hair as a credible sample. This left a now interesting question on Price's mind. Could one of the Irvings have taken a clipping of Mona's fur and simply acted like it had come from Jeff to support the story? Or did Jeff set the whole thing up himself to either mock them or hide what he really was? I love how even though there's like undeniable proof now that evidence has been faked, they still like want to believe that Jeff is real. This is clearly a play by Jeff. Jeff did this. When Jim confronted Jeff about the hair not being his and Duncan thinking it was the dog's hair, Jeff said, quote, he should not think, he should know. He damn well does not know what I am. End quote. Price also noted... What?
No, he's giving back guff.
Yeah, that's totally Jeff's right as a
It's
a
very
mongoose.
classically Jeff. Yeah, it's right as a mongoose. Didn't know that we had special carve-outs in the non-existent British Constitution for them, but there we go.
Yeah. They're protected people.
Okay, that's incredible. Britain has a breathing constitution for its people, and it has a set-in-stone constitution for all stout creatures, which
all
obviously
talking
includes
monkeys.
mongoose.
Yeah. Actually, I found out plural of mongoose is not mongoose, which is what I thought it was. That makes the most sense. It's
Mongooses?
yeah, mongooses.
Mongooses.
Really?
Yeah, it is. I thought it would be mongoose as well, but apparently not
Well,
because
why
it's not
is it
based on a.
geese?
Well, mongoose apparently isn't based on a Germanic word, I think, which is why it's different. Something like that.
Nah, I take issue with the Oxford English Dictionary.
Mongoose makes more sense to me as well, so I think we should just go with whatever makes me the most comfortable. Let's keep going with mongoose.
Should we write a letter or not bother and just
No.
start a trend?
Start a trend. Mongoose.
Yep.
Hashtag mongoose.
Be the change you want to see.
Come on, chat. Back us up on this one.
Come on, chat. Say something.
Mongoose, come on.
You don't like anything.
We'll get them one day. They'll talk back soon. Eventually, they'll have to. Price also noted during his trip to the family the nature of how the house was built. The walls had quite a bit of space between the old stone farmhouse and the newer wooden walls, which meant that noises could travel throughout the house easily. This implied to him that Jeff could just be someone else in the house, using this design to speak as Jeff from different parts of the house. We come to chapter 5. Who or what is Jeff then? Taken directly from the source, according to Jeff, he describes himself as the 8th wonder of the world. That is, he's right. As a member of as a protected class in the British Constitution, that is, he's right. He also claimed that he was the 5th dimension. That's taking it a bit far, Jeff. Let's reel back the ego a little bit. And is there a 4th dimension? Did he skip the 4th dimension and went straight to the 5th dimension?
I think so.
4th dimension is like whenever you go to the
Time.
theaters and they like blow wind in your face whenever like something happens in the movie. That's 4th dimension. What's 5th dimension? How many dimensions are there?
I think there's supposed to be 11, isn't there?
What? I only know about 3.
Is this
You're telling me
news to
there's
you?
11 dimensions? What am I missing out on?
You're missing out on time. You're missing out on being everywhere at once, and several others after that.
Does chat count as a dimension?
Clearly.
What the fuck? You're telling me there's only 4 dimensions. Wait, you're right. Some models suggest that there are as many as 10 or 11 dimensions in total. What the fuck? When did this happen? Why are there so many dimensions?
I don't understand it. Look, see, this is something that we sort of learned while stoned when YouTube first started out when I was in university. You're really asking the wrong guy. I really can't give you an educated. Unlike Jeff, he would definitely be able to fill you in on this.
Well, yeah, he knew about this
not
back
as
in
smart as this Mongoose.
1936 with the
He already figured
Mongoose's
it out.
education. That's crazy.
That's remarkable that he is doing string theory back then.
Wait, so
These guys are right.
time is a dimension, right? Like people
Time's a
speculate that
dimension.
time is a dimension.
Yeah,
And also-
I'm imagining in your realm, actually, Jackson, there's 12 dimensions because the 4th dimension to you is getting air blown on you in a cinema.
if we use that logic, there are a lot of dimensions. There is, in fact, a dimension for everything.
The cheap T-Rex sneezing on you and that little gush of water going on you.
Yeah,
That's the 5th
Whoa,
dimension to you.
That felt like the 6th to me.
That's 6.
Yeah,
5th
that's
dimension to you is still a mystery. That's a question mark. And we get to the 6th dimension, which is Spy Kid's hand coming out.
If I base my learning of the movie Interstellar, didn't they say love is a dimension?
Oh man, wasn't that lame?
That's
That's
pretty
why
lame.
everybody's saying that movie was superior to the other film that came out at the same time, which was Matt Damon gets
the Mars
stranded
one.
on Mars. No, I'm sorry, that was a better film purely for
Yeah.
that.
It was
At
only
the
one
end, they were just
dimension.
like, who'd have known that love was the secret ingredient? Shut
It's
up.
Such a lame ending.
Don't you
The,
think Jeff would find that to be really cringy?
Oh yeah, Jeff would hate that movie. He'd be on the
He'd hate
Matt
it.
Damon train for sure. He'd love that movie.
He'd love
Mars one.
that because he's a true intellect.
That Mars movie with Matt Damon is definitely one where like all the Redditors who love science would clap at it, which is why Jeff would love it too. Jeff reminds me of that kind of vibe. Definitely loves science. Imagine loving science.
Okay. He seems to be quite pissed off at scientists a lot.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean.
But-
He clearly is not a fan of science.
Oh, he's not a fan of science. Yes.
Well, I don't think so, yeah.
If you're talking Mongoose, it's safe to assume you're not a fan of science.
He also claimed that he was the fifth dimension, and he also repeatedly told the Irving family that he could theoretically kill them all, but he wouldn't dare. You might have gathered through this document that Jeff was like an adopted son of sorts, and the Irving family had some sort of bond with the creature, but it wasn't all particularly loving. Jeff was rather abusive to them, and Voirrey was frightened of Jeff for her entire life. Many write off Jeff as a hoax, but not everyone. There is no single unanimously agreed on theory about what Jeff is or was. A lot of the theories and accusations of who started the hoax point straight at Voirrey. She was a young teenager when she first met Jeff, and she was accused of either making up Jeff, making the noises and bringing him to life, or that Jeff was all in her head. An early researcher looking into Jeff swears that he saw Voirrey squeaking like Jeff supposedly did once. She insisted that the sound came from another room. Childhood psychologists have investigated the case and have mostly come to the conclusion that Voirrey possessed the classic profile for constructing imaginary companions in her teenage years. Things like being born to parents who were later in life, growing up as an only child on a lonely farm, never really adventuring past the local area limits, so on. Could Jeff have come from a young teenage girl's imagination and boredom that slowly snowballed, pulling everyone in as it blew out of proportion, and some sort of shared psychosis? Like, yeah, that kind of makes sense if she created Jeff, but like, why would the parents then like actively believe in Jeff as well? Like, there's got to be some kind of like shared psychosis element going on here.
Like, it started with her, and then it slowly pulled everyone into that shed.
Like, maybe she created Jeff initially to like deal with her boredom and loneliness, as you know, kids do. They do create imaginary friends, but usually in that situation, the parents don't then buy into the imaginary friend existing and like reinforcing the delusion. Like, they don't then pretend that the imaginary friend is real, especially not in teenage years. To the point where they themselves believe it. This definitely seems like some reinforcement level here where their belief in Jeff then confirmed to Voirrey that Jeff actually existed, and then it became its own entity entirely, which is kind of interesting. More importantly, could Voirrey have been a Chris Chan from a different dimensional timeline? This theory, not the Chris Chan theory, but the theory that suggests that Jeff was simply Voirrey, can be argued, however. There were certain strange situations that occurred that don't match up with it, so much so that investigators have ruled out that theory entirely. These pieces of evidence that these investigators point to were things like doors inside the house that were seemingly locked that couldn't have been locked by the family while the family was outside, or how the family knew certain information about other parts and people of the Isle of Man that the family couldn't have simply known on their own without Jeff's ability to gather gossip. Or how rabbits were killed and stones were thrown from outside the home while everyone in the family was inside. But yeah, I'm pretty sure most of those stories come from the family themselves, so they could just straight up be lying about those situations. So I'm not sure how that is really evidence to suggest that they weren't lying. Some believe, though, he could have been a ghost or a poltergeist. Nandor Fodor from the the International Institute for Psychical Research, wrote about this in his novels, with him claiming that this case didn't follow the classic poltergeist pattern at all. And we all know our classic poltergeists, what to look for when it comes to classic poltergeists. Jeff showed up when Voirrey hit puberty, but stayed around for many, many years afterwards. It also had a so-called softer side, which isn't normal for poltergeists, who are mostly malevolent. And he wasn't simply focused on doing harm or nefarious things like throwing items and spitting, but would do things that no classic poltergeist would do, like run errands, turn off a fire that the family left on, eat chocolate, and kill rabbits for the family's dinner. No classic poltergeist would eat chocolate, that's for sure. They hate chocolate.
Also kind of hard for them to eat it.
Yeah, considering they're ghosts. Yeah.
Don't have a physical entity.
Yeah. Jeff apparently himself would adamantly claim that he was not a ghost or spirit, even apparently being scared of ghosts himself.
Damn. We're learning more and more about it.
Jeff the Mongoose had a simple answer for his so-called disputed existence, saying that he simply was just a, quote, extra clever mongoose, end quote. Well, there we go. Straight from the source. I believe it. That's evidence enough for me.
I do like how child storybook that phrase is.
I'm just an extra clever mongoose. And that's all I am.
And that's the final word.
Yeah.
You decide at home, but I think we all know what the correct answer is.
Don't you feel your heart growing in strength now that you know that he was just an extra clever mongoose? I believe in the power of friendship.
I do.
Now.
I genuinely do.
Such a beautiful end to that story. Unfortunately, though, let's get dark. We're going to continue on with... he's killed in a tragic hunting accident. He clutches at his little mongoose heart.
No!
And he said, for how extra clever I was, I was still weak to bullets. And then he passed away. No, Jeff. No.
Oh, Jeffy. Oh, Jeffy boy.
Okay, back to the story. Fodor also spoke in his books about Jeff being a projection of the family, which has also branched off to some thinking that he was a disassociated personality of Voirrey, who Jeff was seemingly particularly attached to, or even Jim. This is spoken about in the article Jeff, the Talking Mongoose, 30 years later, with the author writing, quote, Fodor, a 20th century psychiatrist, believed in possession, in quotes. He postulated that Irving, a man much reduced in circumstances, possessed some small animal and molded it to his own personality. The shock of being a lifelong failure, damn. Let's pour one out for my boy Jeff. Jeez. I mean, Jim, not Jeff.
Jeffy.
I don't ever want an article written about me that has that sentence in it. That sucks.
No, that sucks.
The shock of being a lifelong failure split off part of Irving's personality, which contrived the animal in order to fill his time, build his ego, in other words, feed the mental starvation from which he suffered in the wilderness of the Isle. Fodor pointed out many similarities between Jeff's personality and Irving's. Both were dictatorial when crossed, and both were overly possessive of Voirrey. Finally, the little animal served to bring outsider Sador Lish-Kashin and to attract attention to a man who could not have been satisfied with the intellectual caliber of his farm neighbors. One of the more sinister theories... Uh-oh. Jesus.
You all right?
Yeah, something was getting stuck in my throat.
Do you need someone else to talk, or
no, it's all good. It's on the last page. I'll wrap it up. One of the more sinister theories is that this so-called haunting may have been a projection made by Voirrey in an attempt to shield herself from some level of abuse. Some have postulated that there is a creepy or almost sexual aspect to the story of Jeff. I wasn't getting that from the story of Jeff. Were you guys getting that from the story of Jeff? A sexual undertone?
Now that you mention it.
Oh, you're getting a bit...
I was wondering where the boner came from, and I thought that a poltergeist was giving me a hand job, and it turns out that it was.
Particularly in that
the movie Ghost is fucked. Go on, yeah.
Is that the one where... I haven't seen that. Is that the one where a ghost fucks a woman?
Yeah, I think that's what it's called. It must be called Ghost, surely. It can't be called The Ghost That Fucked a Woman. I don't know if you could put that on posters. But that is what it is.
Just stuck with Ghost. Do you have that irrational fear that anytime you like open your mouth, a ghost might be filleting you with his dick?
No, but now that you mention it, that is a very scary thought.
Every time you yawn, it's a danger that you're giving a ghost a blowjob.
And you never know.
No, you'll never know.
An interdimensional suck-off. So you're scared of that, are you, Jackson?
Well, yeah. Kira does tell me that every time when I do yawn, she's like, a ghost just fucked your mouth. Terrified.
All right.
You got to be polite and put your hand over your mouth, then you stop it.
Yeah, okay. Prevent myself from ghost blowjob.
It's clear that Kira's trying to teach you manners. Now I'm just skeptic. Kira's trying to teach you manners, and the only way that she can get it through to Jackson is like, oh no, a ghost is fucking my mouth.
And well, it hasn't worked. I still yawned with my mouth wide open.
You would still rather a ghost cock jammed in your mouth.
I don't care.
Cover. Jackson, comfortable with his interdimensional sexuality.
I said maybe the only thing stopping us from being like haunted like it's a Conjuring movie is my ability to give ghost blowjobs every now and then. We don't know for sure. We've got to keep our house safe.
All right, so you're a juju prostitute. Is this what we're saying?
How do we know that ghosts... Well, if we're living by that logic, surely like ghosts... maybe they're givers as well. Maybe they're returning the favor every now and then. Maybe I'm getting like ghost blowjobs myself and I don't know about it. We don't know for sure what's going on in the interdimensional world.
That is a scary thought, isn't it? Waking up in the middle of the night and seeing a translucent head just going back up and down on your penis.
Still finished.
And the other thing is, I'm pretty sure... Are you finishing? I don't even know if you're getting hard.
Well, I think... Well, I guess you don't feel anything, so there'd be no reason to get hard, right? You wouldn't
There's
even
no
know.
reason to get hard, so they're just sitting there blowing a limp cock.
Maybe that's what do you call them? Morning wood is like nocturnal emissions.
Oh yeah.
Maybe that's what wet dreams
okay.
are. Otherwise, there's no reason for that to happen in the first place, right? You can just get hard
So
through
it's
your
good
brain.
sleep paralysis.
Yeah. Well, no, you're still there's no paralysis. You just, in fact, I think if you were paralyzed, you wouldn't be able to get a boner, right?
I've never really thought about stiffies this hard in my life. And I was a 15-year-old boy at one stage, and I think I'm thinking more about erections now as we speak.
Don't know the size behind them.
Could be a quarter of this entire podcast is talking about cocks.
Fuck that. We're going to be doing a full episode on nocturnal emissions coming up, figuring out whether or not they come from ghosts.
Surely people have claimed this before.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's legit. Just saying. Anyway, back to the story. So some have postulated that there is a creepy or almost sexual aspect to the story of Jeff, particularly in that he was known to watch the people in the house voyeuristically, and he was known to make moaning noises for hours, and the possessive nature of voyeur was somewhat frequent, with Jeff telling her that she couldn't move because he'd follow her wherever she'd go. Well, that's creepy. Yeah, never mind. Fuck Jeff. Some have suggested that this may have been externalization due to supposed abuse. There is little evidence to support this particular theory, but author Brad Steger, himself reporting on the case, suggested that it wasn't unbelievable. He claimed that Voyeur's room had a locking mechanism that was located on the outside of the door, which was unusual, but he also suggested that other researchers who had visited the house had similar theories, but these theories were suppressed due to strong libel laws. Regardless, possibly supporting the theory, 30 years after Jeff, Voyeur spoke to an interviewer about the experience. She did not look back on the events fondly. Quote from Voyeur, 30 years later. I was shy. I still am. He made me meet people I didn't want to meet. Then they said I was mental or a ventriloquist. Believe me, if I was that good, I would jolly well be making money from it now. Jeff was very detrimental to my life. We were snubbed. The other children used to call me the spook. I had to leave the Isle of Man, and I hope that no one where I work now ever knows the story. Jeff has even kept me from getting married. How could I ever tell a man's family about what happened? End quote. Man, what do you think about that?
It's quite an evil thought. I'm kind of disturbed by Jeff. I don't like the thought of a small little stout creature whispering in your ear constantly being like, he's not good enough for you. Damn him. Ugh.
Well, I don't even think Jeff is still around. Like, I think she's just saying like the trauma that Jeff inflicted on me when I was a teenager has made me not want to pursue romantic relationships, basically. Like, it's not like he's there whispering in her ear still. It's just like she's so traumatized from it.
She's so ashamed, like, or not maybe ashamed or
she carries the
something of
baggage.
this part of her life.
Yeah.
She doesn't know how she'd explain it.
Yeah. Which, if this happened to me, I like, not to dismiss her feelings or her trauma or anything, but like in my personal situation, if I had a talking mongoose that was a dick to me when I was growing up, I'd be pulling out that story at every party. That'd be incredible. Like for me personally, obviously, if there's stories of abuse and stuff surrounding it, like it seems like there might be based off the other stuff, then yeah, that's different. But yeah, I mean, I would love to have a story like that of a talking mongoose who used to bully me as a child.
That used to abuse you in your in your life. It is a pretty good story. But,
yeah.
Look, personally, I would see the interpretation of that being the meaner and slacker it was to me, the better. If Jeff just woke up, if I woke up in the middle of the night and Jeff just had his little teeny little cock in my ear or something like that, I'd just be like, yeah, this is great. This is a great story. Jeff.
I love watching Kira just absolutely, just a disappointment in her pose in the background of my webcam at the moment. She just like pulled her head down as soon as you said cock in the ear.
Why? Well, where else could you put such a small cock?
Yeah, Kira.
There's not really other orifices, is it?
It's not like I don't expect you to just say things like that.
Yeah. It's more so just the disappointment that it actually came to fruition.
This sound, while doing it, you wake up to this sound.
What does a small? I don't want to think about it actually.
Totally what it. Have you ever heard? Oh God! Speaking of Joe Rogan, you've heard tortoises fucking before, right?
Yes. Yeah. Oh man, I love when tortoises fuck. The videos are so funny.
That's my ASMR.
No, I don't mean I love when they fuck. I mean I love the videos and the sound of their. Kira just glared at me like that was a weird thing to say. It's not a weird thing to say.
It's so not. I'm sorry. Awesome. If you don't like the sound of tortoises fucking, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah. Do you not like tortoises fucking, Kira?
I don't know. I can't remember what it sounds like.
I've shown you the video.
Oh, surely.
They go,
I mean, I'm sorry, but pull that shit up, Jackson.
Yeah, I know.
Kira, pull it up.
Let's put
some tortoises fucking on screen right now in celebration of Jeff.
I remember now.
It's too late. I'm looking it up. Tortoises boinking.
Boinking.
Oh, there's so many videos of them.
It's such
and for people that
sound.
don't know, it's not the act of sex that's interesting here. It's literally just the noise. Well, I guess it is the act of sex as well.
The act of sex is pretty good.
Yeah. No, not good, but like, no, absolutely not good. They go very slow as a tortoise would. I love how there's like just a crowd of people around the two tortoises fucking, just watching it. And it's just like,
that sound!
That's such a primal sound. It sounds like that. It sounds so like relieved. He's one pump away from dying.
Yeah.
Like the heart's just gonna give up at any second. It's so good. I love those videos. Whenever I need to smile or laugh, that's like one of the first videos I look up.
That's a really good suggestion for life.
Yeah. If you're
anytime you're feeling down,
in a rough
watch that.
spot. If you're ever in a rough spot or you're feeling like life's going nowhere, just pull up a video of a tortoise fucking.
I want that on my deathbed.
It will heal
that
you.
Getting played on all four screens endlessly.
Anyway,
and different sounds as well, so it's constantly out of sync. I'm like,
so good.
It's great. Kira, come on, you like it, don't you?
Kira, come on.
It's pretty funny.
It's. I think it might be the funniest thing that's ever happened.
Her cheeks are all red, I think, or maybe it's just my lighting. But
it's all too much.
Yeah, it's getting too much tortoise
I
sex.
can't believe it. Oh, the tortoises. That is one of the most beautiful sights of nature, I reckon.
That's just nature, Kira.
It
There's nothing to be ashamed of.
Crowd.
Everyone travels from across the globe to watch tortoises fuck.
This is so old.
One of life's greatest mysteries. Yeah, they're like 80, aren't they? How are they still banging? That's incredible.
I don't know.
Okay, where was I? Let's get back.
Even after all the time that passed.
Okay. Even after all the time that passed since the original story, she still insisted that Jeff was not a hoax, instead telling the interviewer that she wished it never happened. Voyre and Margaret had actually wanted to keep the whole Jeff ordeal under wraps and not tell anyone about it, but it was her father, Jim, who spread the word and felt compelled to get the story about Jeff out there. This is another quote from Voyre. Quote, "Yes, there was a little animal who talked and did all those other things. He said he was a mongoose and said we should call him Jeff. I do wish he had left us alone.
The good ellipses. As an afterthought, like he's never considered it before. You know what? On the balance of things, fuck that guy.
Yeah, I wish I never met him. He must have been an absolute dick for you to wish that you never met the talking animal.
Mongoose.
Yeah. All right, the conclusion. James Irving passed away in 1945, just after World War II, which caused Margaret and Voirrey Irving to be forced to sell the farm. It was sold at a loss as it had the unfortunate reputation of being haunted. The man who purchased the farm, Leslie Graham, himself claimed to have shot and killed Jeff. The body that he displayed, however, was much larger than the mongoose was claimed to have been, as well as a different color. And Voirrey Irving was certain that it was not Jeff. I love that. The first intention of buying a home or being told that like there's a mythical talking creature that lives nearby is to go out with a hunting rifle and blast its head off. Like classic. Absolutely classic.
It is.
Just primal fucking just stupidity. Oh, wait, that thing talks, it does. Blast it. Just dead.
Get him. I'm going to prove that he talks by killing him.
Yeah. Oh, he's not talking anymore. You're shy now, are you? He's just fucking blasted to pieces.
Maybe it was the imagination all along.
How dare he talk? The body that he displayed, however, was much larger than the mongoose was claimed to have been, as well as a different color entirely. So this is just unaffiliated mongoose that bore the punishment of Jeff's reputation. And Voirrey Irving was certain that it was not Jeff. Voirrey herself died in 2005. Ultimately, we'll never know if Jeff was real, a hoax, a horrifying case of collective hallucination, or even more horrifying, a young girl's response to trauma. Jeff is certain to be long dead, and his voice is gone from the world. Maybe that's a good thing. That's the end of Jeff the Mongoose. The story of Jeff the Mongoose. For more information...
I can't believe that we finished... Sorry, go on.
For more information, you can go to jeffmongoose.co.uk blog. He does have his own website.
All right, okay. At the end, what do we think? What is it?
Out of those options, I definitely think it's collective hallucination, personally. I don't think there's enough evidence to support the theory that it's her response to trauma. And if it was her response to trauma, then I don't see why her abuser, the dad in the supposed situation of abuse, why he would then also play along with the hallucination. I don't know. There's just not enough evidence for me to, buy into the idea of trauma being the cause of it. More so just collective hallucination because they were.
They didn't seem to be making any money out of it being a prank.
Yeah. I genuinely believe that they believe that Jeff was real, honestly, just considering how she talks about it now, even 30 years later after the fact. Like, she never claimed that it was a hoax or anything like that. She believed that Jeff was real and she wished that he wasn't real. Like, there were certain things there where it seems like, yeah, I think that they believe that it was real. But again, no evidence to me to suggest abuse. She never talks about abuse or anything like that later on, which she may have as an explanation. But yeah, so collective hallucination for me. What about you guys?
Kira, tell us, what do you think?
I think the same. I mean, it could have been that they were using this idea or this thing of Jeff to get fame and stuff, but I remember reading they didn't make any money off of it. So I think that
they lost money.
Yeah, they lost money. The house was sold at a loss, for example.
Yeah.
It was entirely detrimental to their existence, it sounds like.
Yeah, so I don't know why they would do that. So yeah, I'm also of the belief it's like a collective hallucination sort of thing.
Jordan?
Maybe there was an animal there, but it was not talking.
Or maybe it was a talking animal that wasn't a mongoose.
Maybe.
Maybe that's where they got it wrong.
Because
what do you
the scientists kept saying over and over, this is a dog.
Yeah, maybe it was a talking dog.
And I guess that we really, if we boil down to it, is it that much less remarkable that it's a talking dog than a mongoose?
Yes.
The answer is yes. Yeah, it is much less remarkable. Undeniably, way lamer. It's so much better that it is a strange little Indian animal that seemed to have come over in a wicker basket accidentally and fooled visa applications to get through. That's way better. And I am of the opinion that it is British round the twist. I mean, look at the place. It's something magical is going on there, and it doesn't seem... These people don't seem that fazed by a talking mongoose. There must be strange shit happening on the Isle of Man all the time.
You know what
Look
we
at
need to
how
do?
misty it is. In the photo, it's as soon as you start getting onto the land of man, it's
magical.
all shrouded in mist. It's incredible.
It's a magical place, absolutely. I genuinely believe that there's nowhere on Earth like the Isle of Man, and there is
I want to go.
strange things happening on that
me
island.
too. I want to go there.
We should for a Red Thread, we should do an investigation on the Isle of Man.
Mm-hmm.
Just of the entire location, basically.
We'll go there, and it'll pretty much be a small Newcastle, won't it? But whatever.
We can make the best of it.
Okay.
Actually, we can go down to Newcastle and film there instead and claim that it's Isle of Man, and maybe no one will know the difference.
No one will tell the difference. Absolutely not. If you really want to trick them, go to Hobart.
Yeah, exactly. All right, that's going to do it for this week's episode of Red Thread. Thank you very much for joining us. You can head on over to official.men for a 7-day free trial to our membership platform. 7-day free trial gets you early ad-free access to all of our shows, and you can interact with us over there. All of our shows, including Criminally Stupid and the Official Podcast, all 7-day, all early. About 5 days early access. And ad-free. So yeah, it's a great way to support us. If you want to support the show, you like what we do here at Red Thread, that's the best way to support us. So official.men, you get a 7-day free trial to try out the service. Other than that, Jordan has live shows across Australia right now. You can buy tickets to go see him live. Make sure that if you do, you heckle him during the show. That would be fantastic. Just scream out quotes from Jeff the Mongoose while he's trying to perform his material. Nothing would make me
That's
happier.
definitely going to happen now. Yep.
Please do. Please make sure that the experience for him is as awful as possible. The price point for doing so is remarkably cheap. You can get tickets for under $50 and you will ruin his night. So please make sure to take advantage of that.
And everyone else's as well. Don't forget that.
Yep. Everyone else.
This is what hecklers forget. You're also ruining 200 paying customers' lives.
Yep. Make sure that you do, please.
Make sure you do that.
The Red Thread curse. Yeah. Nothing would make us happier here. Other than that, Jordan's got YouTube. His 2 YouTube channels as well, Friendly Geordies. Go check it out. Does Australian politic coverage over on one of them and then self-help on the other. You'll turn into a better man by watching both of them. So make sure that you do subscribe. Other than that, we'll see you next time on Red Thread. Thank you to Kira for joining us. I'm going to go watch Turtles Fucking. Bye.
See ya.